Next, we have Jim Gottstein. Jim, come to the stage. Hi. Jim is an attorney, psychiatric survivor, and founder of PsychRights from Alaska. He's the president and CEO of Law Project for Psychiatric Rights, whose mission is to mount a strategic litigation campaign against forced psychiatric drugging and electroshock. A Harvard-trained attorney and psychiatric survivor, Jim has helped provide leadership within a wide number of mental health advocacy organizations, as well as within the courtroom. He is also a member of the Board of Directors, International Society for Ethical Psychiatry and Psychology. Welcome, Jim. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Caitlin. Can you hear me okay? Laura, I did a little speech too. I'm nervous. But before I start, I want to mention a couple things. One is we have these signs here, and the other signs too, I assume. But if people want to take them home with them afterwards so you can protest in your home locations, that would be great. I'm pleased and flattered to have been invited to speak here. I want to thank Mind Freedom International and David Oakes for sponsoring this and organizing this important event. David and Mind Freedom have been doing this type of important work for over 35 years. I also want to thank Susan Rogers and her group at the National Mental Health Consumer Self-Help Clearinghouse. They have been just amazing in doing all this work. I also want to thank each and every one of you who have come to participate in this important protest of the American Psychiatric Association. I know for many of you, it's been difficult and a hardship to come. I mean, we've had this listserv, and I know how hard it has been for some of you to get here. It's so important because we must pierce the psychiatric industry's veil of lies about its practices and the great harm it causes. We must make it known that in addition to the great physical carnage, these practices prevent at least 2/3 of its victims from getting through their experiences that get labeled as serious mental illness and get their lives back on track. Current mainstream psychiatric practices derails this process. Now, I do know people who find their psychiatric medications helpful, adults, and they should be available to adults who want them. At the same time, they should be told the truth about them, including that there are other approaches that work for many people far better and without the tremendous harm caused by the drugs. And electroshock. Yes, electroshock is still being done in this country, and it's being forced on people against their will, ordered by the courts. The horror of the massive psychiatric drugging of poor children on Medicaid must be stopped. We must stop it. Infants are being given the most powerful and harmful drugs. Most of this drugging through Medicaid is illegal, but the federal government has refused to stop it. That shows the power of the psychopharmaceutical complex. We must counter that by exercising our power, the power of the people. That is what we are here for today. Psychiatry uses dubious labels to drive up drug sales, lock people up, and force them to endure harmful, counterproductive drugs and electroshock against their will. We must stand up against this. The prospective 5th edition of the Diagnostic and Statistics Manual, DSM-5, will make this even worse. Current mainstream psychiatric practices have increased the disability rate of people diagnosed with mental illness by 6 times. Literally millions of people's lives are being shortened by 25 years on average. Many are killed outright. We who are here are the lucky ones. We are not locked up by psychiatry. We are not so debilitated by the drugs that we couldn't come. We are here for the thousands, nay, millions of people who are being locked up and drugged against their will. We are also here for those in community-based pharmaceutical prisons as well, so debilitated by the drugs they can't speak up for themselves. This can happen to anyone. It's not just us. Anyone out there it can happen to. I get calls and emails from people every week, almost every week, who were living their so-called normal lives, ran into some trouble, and found themselves subjected to these type of psychiatric horrors. In 2003, Mind Freedom held a fast for freedom and mental health, also known as the hunger strike, which resulted in the American Psychiatric Association admitting they have not told the truth about chemical imbalances and defective brains being the cause of what they call mental illness. Since then, the evidence of mainstream psychiatry's messaging being at odds with reality has only grown. The fundamental question posed in my mind is exemplified by the signs and t-shirts the Law Project for Psychiatric Rights, PsychRights, has brought. Has the doctor been fooled or complicit? Is the doctor fooled or is the doctor being complicit? Those who are complicit should be held accountable. Those who have been fooled need to change. Let's put that question to the psychiatrists assembled here today. Thank you.